What is missing on this one? Just the exhaust shield. Good morning, Dominators. I have had 2 cups of coffee this morning. I'm feeling pretty good. Today I wanted to make a quick video about buying a used Greensmower. A while back I made a video about the True Cut, some tips if you're shopping for a True Cut. I'll link it here. Today I'm going to talk some about the John Deere, and really this will apply to most Greensmowers, so let's get into it. So with any used Greensmower, the first thing I would do is get there and crank it. Make sure it idles good. You know, it could have just a carb problem, but make sure it'll idle and throttle up. I'll demonstrate it here on the Deere on how to do that. Cleaning a carb, replacing a carb, not a huge deal, but again, it may be like a negotiation point if it's not running smooth right out of the gate. So let me go ahead and I'll show you how to crank this one and some basic controls on the Deere. So on the Deere, it's super easy to crank. You've got some controls up here. This is the on-off switch right here. You just want to make sure it's not in the stop position, so put it down to crank it. This is a parking brake. This is broken on probably 90% of the John Deeres I have come across. I personally don't use the parking brake, nor do I care about it, so that's not a huge deal to me when that doesn't work. This up here is the throttle, and then here you have your drive clutch. So the first thing I do, is crank it, and then I want to engage the travel clutch and make sure that self-propel is working, as it should, and that there's no issues there. Back to cranking this, again, very easy. You've got your on-off switch, turn that on, got a choke down here. You don't worry about holding the presence bell or anything, you just give it a pull. Choke off, cranks up, idles fine, sounds good. Now when you want to start mowing or to drive, all you're going to do is push in the presence bell, which is this right here, and you will push the drive or the travel clutch down, and then it's going to take off. So let me show you. The other thing you want to check, this is a greens tender conditioner on the John Deere. You'll see it called GTC. A lot of times these are not working. On this particular unit, it's broken actually. That's good to check when you're checking out a used one. On the John Deere, to turn it on and off, you're just going to flip this switch right here and make sure it engages. If it does not engage, that can be an easy negotiation point. The little gears in here, very expensive. If it's John Deere OEM, it's going to be expensive. So just something to check when you're looking at a used unit. So my exhaust shield was just off because I repainted it. I just need to screw it back on, but that's the only reason. This one is equipped with a light kit. You can check to see if the light will turn on and off. And functions, it just has a on-off switch right there. The light does work on this one. Another thing, transport axles, have they been cut? Does it come with the transport wheels? Transport wheels can be really expensive if you need them. I personally don't use them, but a lot of guys really need them. So also, does it come with a catcher? The catchers, man, they can be $200 and up. So just something else to think about, when you're shopping for a used unit. Also, be sure to look at the condition of the plastics. If cosmetics is important to you, I replaced the front cover on this one, and boy, I thought this would be like 20 bucks or something. That front cover was around $150. So just something else to think about. This one was all busted and cracked, and it just needed a new one. So I did put a new one on here, but the plastics, very expensive. Probably the most important thing with these is going to be the condition of the reel and the bed knife. So you want to get in here. The first thing I usually do is just, a visual inspection, see how much meat is left on the reel. Carefully, grab the reel and you can try to move it side to side. If it's got a lot of play in it, it could be some bad bearings or something like that. And I'll also take paper with me and we'll do a paper cut test. Now this one, it's probably hard to see, but the bed knife, there's no nicks or anything. That's what I'm looking for if it's just all beat up. This one's in pretty decent shape. The drum has no holes in it. I've seen people that, you know, somehow they get holes in the drum. I have no idea how you would do that, but, you know, just something I've seen before. So to do the paper cut test, I literally use notebook paper. I don't use thick business cards or anything like that. I'll just take some notebook paper, and you just want to make sure you're getting a clean cut. You know, it may not be cutting paper when you buy it. It's just something you can check. You know, if you can cut paper right when you buy it, I mean, that's a great sign, and you're set up, you know, ready to go from day one. So you could actually see when I was down there by the reel just now, there is a bend, a slight bend in the reel. That is where I hit the curb way earlier this season. I was able to file it down, so the contact with the bed knife is now fixed. But that is something you want to be looking for on a used unit. You know, does it have bends in the reel like that? So when you're checking it out, you obviously want to make sure that the reel will engage and disengage. On the John Deere, it has a lever down here. So you just want to change this over to mow, and that will engage the reel. So be sure to check that. On the John Deeres, you have a lever here. On the Toros, you're going to have a control up by the handle bars area. And a lot of people don't like John Deere because of this reason right here. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but be sure to check the reel engagement when you're there. Quick lawn update. The next thing on my mind is pre-emergent time. I will be getting down my first round of pre-emergent probably around September. I used Spectacle G this past season. Phenomenal results. I usually deal with POA, the nastiest winter weed every season, and I did not have a single bit this year. Spectacle G is more on the expensive side. I just bought more. I think I paid $110 for it, but I'm definitely going to be using it. I like to do split apps with that. This season was the best season I've had as far as weeds go. You know, I think highly of Spectacle, so I'll be using that again. I definitely also got to get a mow in today. It's a jungle out here. But anyways, I hope these tips have helped you guys. And, you know, if you have any questions, comments, drop them below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and happy mowing.